Welcome to the 40 Plus Podcast, guys.
Welcome. We're here, y'all. I'm your host, Mario J. Brown.
And I'm your host, Kimberly Marie Brown.
And this is the hangout spot where we will touch and inspire those who are 40 and over. Y'all ready?
We're going to talk about faith, family,
finance, career, and how could we not talk about relationships?
And I'm so excited because for the first episode, you guys get us.
Oh, man. Why do we need anybody else?
Why do you need anybody else? We have other guests that are coming later in the season, but you guys get us. This is quality time, personal time with Kimberly and Mario. And we want you to like and subscribe.
Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get to know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because my people may not know you. And your people may not know me.
And there's plenty of people that don't know either one of us.
Don't know us.
Exactly.
You know?
So this is a brand new platform, brand new podcast. You guys are now our family. We pray that we can be your family and you can invite us into your homes, on your TV, on your iPad, on your iPhone.
All of
Android.
that. Like and subscribe. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I'm not worried because once y'all hear what we're talking about, it's going to naturally happen. So y'all don't, it's too good to keep it to yourself. So we want you guys to be encouraged. We want to speak life into you.
Amen.
Those who are 40 plus, that's where we are, right?
Yes, exactly.
And so we just want to make sure that we have a space for those who are in our same age range.
Because it gets deep 40 plus. But before we get into all of the things for the life of those who are 40 plus, we want to bond with you guys. We want you to get to know us. Like we said at the beginning, I'm Kimberly.
Yes. And again, I'm Mario J. Brown.
Kimberly,
don't forget the J. Y'all.
Marie Brown. Don't forget the
J.
Marie.
Oh, the Marie. Oh, yeah, that too.
So we're so excited. Who are we? We are a newlyweds.
Yes, we're newlyweds. We are a blended family of 6, y'all. Woo, that's a big number.
Blended family of 6. We have a dog, Irish Doodle named Dakota.
We claiming him.
We have had him for only a year, so we are new at owning a dog, a puppy, if you will. Yes, we live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. We are Christians.
Yes, love the Lord, love Jesus,
Absolutely.
Team Jesus. We are newly ordained pastors.
Man. Ooh, that's new for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been in the works, but yes, we are newly ordained pastors, and we are creatives. Just,
all the way.
You know, you'll learn more about my testimony and her testimony, how I've been in music for 25 plus years. And
I've been in modeling, fashion, motivational speaking, and radio for about 16 years. So we've both been in Christian entertainment for decades together. What, over 40 years.
Yeah, if you put them together, right? Yeah. So it's a lot of experience here. And so you'll learn more about that. We won't expose that just this soon, but you'll learn more about us and how we met and all those things. So you got to follow us and like us and subscribe to find out the whole story.
Oh my goodness. They got to stay tuned all of season 1. They got to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
For the reunion, all of that. Like,
it's a beautiful, beautiful story. Beautiful story.
I'm excited because today, as we jump in, and just even being here, I'm excited about this podcast because we get to really lay out what we're feeling 40 plus, right? Yeah. This is a different age group. It's a different time in our life. And I'm excited because this is our platform, like for you to have this vision of what you want us to talk about. Do you want to dig into that, or you just want to jump right into some of the topics?
We can dig into it.
Let's dig into it, because I want to know, what did the Lord tell him for us to create this?
So I feel like we're in a good place, 40 plus, because we're connected to the old and we're also connected to the younger generation. So I feel like this age group is like a bridge that can connect the two together. And so I'm thankful that, you know, I was born in the time that I was born in. So now at 40 plus, there are some things that, you know, I want to be able to just share and just, you know, get to the younger generations as well as let our older generation know that they are not forgotten.
Exactly.
The lessons that we learned in the middle are very important. So this platform is, again, for those who are 40 plus, because we experience some things at 40 plus, whether it be, relationships, like we talked about. At this point, we may have been married before, been divorced. We may have had children, may not have had children. We're going to interview some people that, you know, in their 40s are just now having their first child. And so all of these things happen at this age. And then, you know, a lot of us find ourselves in different places where we're trying to figure out, where am I? You know, is this a midlife crisis, or, you know, what's going on here?
I need a fan for that one. Because I think at this age group, 40 plus, we couldn't have imagined where our life would have been. Like if we would have planned all of this in high school, in college, in our 20s, what would we all have wanted our life to look like? And I love this platform because we get to be real about the ups. We get to be real about the downs. We get to be real about everything in between. We get to be real about the stuff that we kind of didn't like. You know, there's like, if I could have wrote my story differently, I would have written in something else. But I love platforms where we're able to be honest and just really explore life and all of the ups and downs. Like, so 40 plus, I mean, we're talking 40s, 50s, 60s, 70, again, plus. So we get to cover so much of life on this platform.
And this is our space. You know, I don't know that there's a space like it out there. So again, this is our space where we can be comfortable and we can talk about our fears, our failures, just some of the things we're excited about, some of the things we're looking forward to, even some of the challenges. You know, I think this platform will help us to navigate through all of these years that we're in currently. So again, what are you excited about, just being 40 plus? What are you excited about?
So we're going to start off with honesty and transparency. And so 40 is the age, to be honest, this decade where I was a little intimidated by, a little unsure about. I think that's a real feeling because 20s, I definitely knew I was ready to get out of 20s. Like you bump your head so much in 20s. 30s, I have to be honest, I felt like I was in a vibe. 30s. If 30s felt good for me. 30s felt, because I felt like I had all that wisdom for 20s, and then 30s I was a little bit more mature, but then my body wasn't cracking as often, you know, and so 30s was really good for me. I think 40s, this age group was a little, just specifically 40s, a little bit more intimidating because in this age group I've seen and communicated with more people that seem to be kind of stuck. Seemed to be unsatisfied. They weren't really happy with the way life went. And so just some of the testimonies, just how people were losing hope and losing faith, and maybe the marriage that they was in, they were no longer in, or maybe now the kids that were there this whole time, now the kids are gone and they're empty nesters. And so 40s, that age group, I found that a lot of people, for me, that I was talking to in ministry or just in life, it seemed like a lot of people were kind of in a different place. And we'll get into that. So 40s, I'm trying to make 40s what my 30s felt like.
That's interesting. Yeah, like you said, it's interesting because at 40, you know, you would like to think that your life is at a place where you've always envisioned for it to be. And not always is that the case. Sometimes that's the time where things have shifted and being shaken up the most. And so, you know, a lot of people at 40 are now trying to figure it out. It's like, man, time is speeding up. I don't know about you, but it feels like sometimes birthdays are coming faster and you feel like your time is getting shorter with the time that you have left on this earth. So it's interesting that you felt like your 30s were really, really good.
I did. I enjoyed my 30s.
That's good because
I wasn't afraid.
30s for me, I was still trying to figure out a lot of things and didn't quite reach the levels that I felt like I should have. So when 40 came, it was like, wait a minute. I had to really just reevaluate everything in life because now I'm at 40 and I haven't reached these pinnacles or these, you know, these visions and dreams that I felt like I should be at this place in time. So at 40 years old, you know, I felt like I should have been further along than where I was at 40. And so it caused me to reevaluate everything in life, reevaluate people, reevaluate situations, reevaluate just my journey in life. And it just made me really look at everything. It was just a wake-up call
for you.
And I don't know if you felt that, those of you who are over 40, did you feel something different when 40, even as it was approaching? Did you feel like, oof, I'm about to be 40?
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal. You know, and I know that those of you that are watching are like 50 and 60, like y'all still young, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. I understand all of that, but listen, think back to when you were 40.
Yeah.
How did it feel when you were about to hit that age? It's something about 40 plus.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's exciting to know that you were excited, you know, when 40 plus came. You know, that's a good thing. Were you afraid at all, or how did you feel just altogether?
I don't think I'm afraid being in this territory. I think I'm just aware. I think I'm aware of pitfalls that I don't want to be in.
Okay.
But then again, I think when we're so aware, you have to be careful that you don't try to like really control situations and try to control like how your life is going to go. Because again, being a believer, it's like, okay, God has me regardless, you know, in every season he has me. But I think I'm just aware, and I'm really trying to be in tune. I'm really trying to be honest. I'm really trying to show up more authentic, and I'm really trying to review my life and just really feel comfortable even more in my own skin, which I hear a lot of people say, like once they get to 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it's like, no, who I am is who I am, like accept it or not. And I think I'm kind of at the beginning of that journey, like really trying to be authentic to who I am at the core, and really trusting myself at the core. So
yeah. And it's funny because when you hit 40, it's like you're at the midway point in life. You know, if we look at statistics, we may live to reach 80 years old. So again, that's a real place in life where we're like in the middle of everything. And so we're wondering, like, you know, are we satisfied with life? Are we content with where we are? And, you know, how much time do we have left to and then even what circumstances are we in order to reach where it is that we see that we're, you know, supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that planning piece, I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking about. Are we really planning a lot on where we want our life to go, what direction, you know, where we want to be? And we're going to talk about that. I think that's the thing, that the guests that we have in the podcast for the 40 plus, like, they get to be real. They're going to tell you about some of the things that they planned that went right. They talk about some of the things that they planned that went wrong. They talk about what they learned and the next steps. I think for us, we as a married couple are really in a planning phase. And I think that's why now a lot of people will start to see us. I think we're really in a season of growth. We're really in a season of like really being intentional about where we are as creatives, where we are as entrepreneurs. We have really planned out kind of like the next 2 decades of our life. And I think Mario and I are unique in a sense of we love to get stuff done. Like doing a lot in the creative space, in the space of ministry isn't too much for us. It's actually fulfilling.
Absolutely. And so we want you to know that this is a safe place. This is a place where you can be honest about where you are and where you're going. And, you know, if you have some fears or some anxieties or even some regrets, man, a lot of us, if we're completely honest, like this is the space y'all gonna learn that Kimberly and I are completely honest about, you know, the things that we've been through, going through. And that's what it's about, transparency. And so once you've been in a place and you really feel like, man, like if I'm honest with myself, I would have loved to have been further along than where I am, but I'm not. Yeah. And so now how do I transition so that I can chart a better course for my life? How do I do that? What does that look like?
You made me think about something, and this kind of goes into the next topic that we're going in. Okay, so things happen in our life and we kind of failed. It didn't go like we wanted it to. How do we get there? But then how do we keep hope? And I don't know why that just keeps ringing, for me anyway, for this age group, especially 40s and 50s, just the hope of life. Just to not lose that luster, to not lose that shine, whether we're talking about, because so many things happen about time you're 40 plus. I mean, you talk about career changes, you talk about children, you talk about relationships, we talk about death of loved ones, afflictions in our body, mental.
So how do you not lose that luster when you've dealt with all the things that you mentioned, the death and the disappointment and How do you do that?
Yeah, I think for me, it's really just kind of reflecting and being honest with myself about the things that I go through. Really sitting with it and being able to process it. I mean, there's so many conversations now about mental health And I think just getting to know ourselves. I think so many times in life we're doing. We're doing for our mates. We're doing for our children. We're doing for our jobs. And do we really stop to like do for us? To take an inventory of like, how am I feeling emotionally? How am I feeling mentally? What space am I in? Am I happy with this decision? What can I do to change this decision? Am I happy with my mindset? And am I happy with the things that I'm taking in? So for me, it's all about like, what am I taking in? If I'm trying to get to this goal, am I taking in things that'll get me to this goal or to this place that will give me the fulfillment that I want? Kind of just doing inventory on a regular basis of my life, not letting it get too out of hand to where I can't take emotional or mental inventory. To give me hope.
I recently talked to someone who, we had a very candid conversation about moving from one place to another, and that's me coming out of a divorce, and will I get married again, and how will I do it, and how will I know who's the one, and am I going to be brave enough to do it?
That's good.
And that person was basically just saying that at this age we find ourselves sometimes kind of set in our ways, and just really needing to figure out how do we get to the next level in life when we know that we're like, because she was basically expressing to me, shout out Cheryl Riley. I'm just gonna shout you out. Cheryl Riley, I love you. That's my sister. And she was just saying like, Mario, if you do it, if the longer that I wait, it becomes a little bit more fearful to do.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely.
the older I get, it's like, it's a little bit more risk involved. It's a lot more, I'm kind of set in my ways. So
that's good.
How do you deal? Like these are the difficulties that we go through at this age. So again, this is a platform we're gonna be real. When you're 40 plus, you're pretty much set in your ways, used to doing things a certain way.
Yeah.
So now you're talking about moving on and moving into a certain relationship or a certain status that you're looking forward to, that you believe God has for you. But how do you do that when you're guarded? And when you're bitter?
So we about to be real?
Yeah.
Okay. Real.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think for us, the fact that we had to live in that space, right? We met each other and started dating later in life. So we already had our habits and the way that we were. And I think really, honestly, the advice that I would give to anyone as a sister, I mean, we don't know it all, but just our personal story and what we've been through, I think you have to let go. I think we have to release. And I think that's a good thing. Even though it feels so scary, I would encourage anybody at this space that if you want something that you don't have and you're trying to make it real and tangible in your life, you're going to have to let go. You're going to have to release. You're going to have to open up your mind. You're going to have to open up your heart. Yeah. You're going to have to be vulnerable. I think that's the key word. And I'll pass the conversation to you, but vulnerability is so beautiful at this age, and I feel like can bless us with so many things. Yeah,
I agree, but I also understand that it's very hard to be vulnerable with people that you don't fully trust. So what do you do in a space where you want to be vulnerable, but you don't really know that the person you're being vulnerable to can handle your vulnerability?
Well, think about this. Vulnerability has levels.
All right.
Okay, so come on, let's keep, let's process. We're gonna work through this together. Again, we family. Yeah. Y'all joining in 40 Plus Podcast. Kimberly Marie.
Mario J. Brown.
The Brown. So this is what I'm thinking. When we first started dating, there were levels to the vulnerability, but we had to come in being vulnerable with each other. I don't think that we would have been able to get to a place of love or get to a place of connection or companionship without some level of vulnerability. I think completely removing that from the beginning would have been not a good thing for us. How can you break through? Okay, growth. If we think about growth, you break through. Like that seed has the plant has to break through the seed to grow. There has to be some type of breakthrough. So if the plant just wants to stay in the seed, then do you get me?
I understand
I'm like, how do we? And that's what I want to ask, our audience and have you guys think about it. If we're not vulnerable, like how do we get to those things that we really want to get to if we never step out the boat?
So I think what you're expressing and teaching us is that it is necessary, whether it's difficult or not, it's necessary to be vulnerable in order to get to that next level. Because the more you hide things, you can only hide things for so long anyway.
Yeah.
So if it's something that you're reaching for that's true, genuine, and transparent, and that's real, I mean, it's worth the risk. Even if it doesn't go as planned,
you'll learn.
You'll learn that okay, this wasn't for me. But at least I was able to be myself. At least I was able to be vulnerable in this situation, and you know, wherever it lands is where it lands.
Yeah, I think about that with anything though, like career.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we're going to have to step out. We're going to have to be vulnerable. We're going to have to be transparent. We might have to try to apply for that job that maybe we think that we won't get. When I think about friendships for those who are 40 plus, it takes some vulnerability to step out of your circle and do things different and go to networking events or go to that art gallery or to change that group of people that you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So I think that vulnerability and that transparency, I think when it meets, we can really find blessings at 40 plus that maybe we've never seen before or that we truly do want to manifest versus just continue to be guarded and set in our ways.
Absolutely. So yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good start, good introduction to this topic because it's necessary to be vulnerable, even though it's hard sometimes. I mean, who wants to be in something that's not, you know, fully transparent or genuine or real? And I think that's what's helped us a lot, just being able to be vulnerable and learning that we're safe. So you may not know initially, and it may be scary. It may be a place where it's like, man, I don't know you. I don't know that I can share my innermost thoughts and being with you. Yeah. But when you get to a place where you meet the one and you can talk to them and be transparent and vulnerable about the things that you, you know, just who you are in general. You know, you'll change for people that, you know, accept who you are and that are, you know, again, you're in this safe place. So it's like, man, you're not out to hurt me. You're not out to get me. You're in my corner. You're on my team. So it's like even the things that I'm bitter about, I'm stuck in my ways about. The only way to change those things is when you feel like you're in a safe place. Yeah. So when you find yourself in a safe place, you find yourself changing. Yeah. So a lot of times at 40 plus, we meet people who are trying to change us, who are trying to force change out of us and not allowing change to genuinely take place. Man, that's good.
You made me think about something too that's so good. Now, think about the safe place in our life as we're trying to create as creatives, right? So many people 40 plus still have dreams, visions, all of these things they want to do as entrepreneurs, as creatives. Even if we look at the podcast space, how many people are God like tugging on their heart, like you have something to say, you have a platform, you can open up a podcast. We have to make this space our safe space. So even for us now at the beginning of the 40 plus podcast, I'm excited because you guys are here with us and we are creating this space of vulnerability, transparency, and making it safe, not only for us, for you guys, for your comments, for your likes, for your shares, for love and support towards each other, and then for our guests. Yeah. And so sometimes we have to create that safe space. And then if people don't respect that safe space, then we have to move them and place them accordingly. But just creating that safe space in our life, what results could we see?
Absolutely.
At 40 plus.
Absolutely.
I'm feeling motivated. Can I get up and run around a little bit? I want some more safe spaces in my life. This is good.
It feels good. You know, when you're in the place that you belong, you know, you have that room and freedom to grow. And freedom is so important. Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, even just thinking about, you know, at this age sometimes, and then we're talking about 40 plus. So just think about the ones that who are 50 and 60. The older you get, the more set in your ways you become. Yeah. So there's a lot of 50, 60, 70-year-old, 80-year-olds even that are still looking to be companion or be connected with another individual, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
And so if you are stuck in your ways and rigid in the way, you know, this is just the way I like things. I like my clothes hung up this way, or I like my clothes ironed this way. So when those are the spaces that you find yourself in, sometimes it becomes difficult to connect yourself with someone else because guess what? They're stuck in their ways too.
Absolutely.
So how do you blend two people who are stuck in their ways?
Ooh, that's why I think 40 plus, I think we need a little space to be able to look within and just know that we're not perfect. We don't know it all just because we've lived life. Again, I just keep thinking about this childlike spirit and childlike energy and the hope that we had when we were younger, the way that we looked at life before all of these different things happened. And I think it's just being able to look within and just kind of be honest with ourselves and know that every way that we think or every little particular thing about us doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, and it just has to stay there in the foundation of it. You know, when we talk about principles, or when we talk about character, we talk about faith, you know, some of those things are in the foundation. But when it comes to stepping out and meeting other people, whether we're talking about friendships, whether we're talking about connecting with love, you know, family members, or rekindling broken relationships, or getting into a romantic relationship, some of these things we can kind of push to the side. It doesn't have to be so particular. We don't have to be so set in our ways, because if I really love you and I really know that you add value in my life, why do I always need to go to bed at 8:30?
Yeah. I guess it comes to a point where you have to weigh out, you know, what your priorities are, what you really want and desire in life.
Yeah.
Because you're going to come in contact with somebody that's not like you.
Absolutely.
So at that point, what adjustments are you willing to make?
That's good. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then if you weigh those adjustments out, like, is it truly changing you? Like, I've been in situations where I've heard that, oh, you trying to change me. Like, is it really changing you to pick your clothes up or do this a certain way? Or,
you're right.
You know, like, is that, you know, who are you at the core?
Yeah, you're right. And I think some of that can be ego and pride. And, you know, again, we didn't live some life, y'all, 40 plus. So we talking about 40s, 50s, 60s. You know, I think sometimes it can be a little bit of ego and pride, and just wanting to do things our way, you know, kind of being selfish in a sense, you know. And so can we be flexible? What does it look like to be more flexible in our life? What does it look like to be more open in our life? What does it look like to be more vulnerable and transparent? I don't know why those things keep coming up for the first episode, but that's where we're at.
Yeah. Man, you said something, flexibility. And there's so many ways we can go with this, because sometimes is it beneficial to be flexible, or is it, you know, what happens when there's some places where you should not be flexible?
Of course.
Because there's you know, it can go either way.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
then again, that's why I say you got to kind of weigh it out and see what you want, you know, what you're looking for, what your desires are. But we want to transition just to talk about even in friendships.
Yeah.
40 plus. What is that? what do friendships look like in this age group, 40 plus friendship?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different stories. So like, I've heard some people say, like, in their 60s and 70s, like, they kind of have their core group of friends, and that's kind of who they have. I've heard of some women in their 50s, and I'm talking more from the sister perspective, of course, being a woman. But I've heard some sisters say, like, I'm in my 50s now, like, I have my group of people that I hang out with, and I'm really not open to connecting. I've heard a variety, you know, things, just depending on people's background and what they've been through. What about you with friendships at this age?
Oh, man. So friendships are really, it can be a deep topic for me, because I understand that friendships serve different purposes, right?
Okay.
So I have some friends, while they all are on the same level, they're friends, but I have friends that serve different purposes.
Okay.
So I have some friends that I look at, and, you know, I realize that, you know, in this friendship, this is what this friendship adds to me.
Okay.
And this is what what I add to this friendship.
Okay.
And so what one friend may need, the other friend may not need. And while I'm able to receive from one friend one particular thing, I may not be able to receive from the other friend.
Yeah.
So I've learned at this age,
Okay.
at now, you know, 40 plus, to just be able to just value the friendships that I have, and not try to compare them to see, you know, well, this friendship doesn't look like this, or this, I talk to this friendship, this friend more than I do this friend. So I don't look at it like that anymore, because I understand the value and the importance of each friendship.
Yeah.
And then it's also about just being intentional at this age, because we have lives and family and friends. And, you know, if you're not really intentional with your friendships and trying to continue that friendship and help it to grow, it can easily be put to the side.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's some friends that can be, you know, a lot more sensitive and say, hey, you know, I haven't heard from you. While other friends may understand, like, hey, you know, this is what it is. So, you know, one of my friends have always made it a point, like, hey, we got to make sure, even before we hit 40, he was always stressing, we got to do business together somehow. We got to figure out a way where we will stay connected, because as we get older, as life happens, you know, we don't have the time.
Yeah.
And you got to be okay with that, to understand that, no, I don't love you any less. Our relationship, our friendship could never change.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Like, this is my wife, this is my children. So I'm more focused on my priorities at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's good. I think too, I admire you, and I think Mario has kind of a very special story. You really do have good longevity relationships. Like your longest friendship goes back to
man.
what, 5?
Woo, K4.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Merriweather. And even before that, Darrell, you know, my mom and his mom were pregnant in the church, you know, at very young ages. So we came out, you know, we still have a bond to this day as well. So just thankful.
Absolutely. I think good friends are a blessing. And then I've heard some people say that sometimes you only get 1 or 2 really good friends, you know, in your life. Now, Mario is blessed with a pack. He has friends all over the region. Now, we just need that anointing on all of us. You know, God has blessed him with some gifts.
However, I want to speak to that because that's changing for me now that the older I get.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the dynamic of my friendships change.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. You know, I love everybody. I love every one of my friends. I'm here if they need anything. I'm sure if I call them, they right there as well. But I do understand how things are changing.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand. I felt like I did have this pack of friendship, you know. But my grandfather would tell me, like, in life, you're going to have about 1 or 2 good friends that you can really count on. And I was like, I always used to look at them like nah, not me. Yeah. Like, I got that. Right now, I can count about 10. But guess what? Those 10 are waning down. You know, I talked to a good 2 or 3
basis,
on a regular basis. And it hasn't changed, you know, again, the relationship status, but at the same time, I'm understanding now that life is happening to everybody.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. I think it's beautiful too as life happens. One thing that I love about that I see friendships in the male community more so than sisters, but it can go either way. But I love the fact that you guys seem to really adjust very well as life changes and still keep that same love and energy and don't take it as personal.
What do you think is the difference with women and men?
So that's a whole nother episode. We're gonna get some of our sisters on here to help me. Tune into Exchange Women's Conference. We talked about that there. That's kind of deep. But yeah, it's just different dynamics, and I think things that can be different between the genders. But I do hold a women's conference and just held one where we really spoke about on a deep level when it came to friendships and sisterhood and different things like that. So I'd love to invite, you know, more people on here to actually talk about that. But that's going to take a full hour.
And you know what's interesting? Since I've met you, this is the most vulnerable, transparent relationship that I've ever experienced, been in.
Oh, wow.
As far as being honest and you know, you feel one way, I feel, but that's how it should be.
Yeah.
You know, we're connected in a way that I've never been connected to anybody else.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, if I'm completely honest, there's some friendships that, although we've had longevity, we've also never really had friction. If you get what I'm saying. So there's some friendships that I've had that we haven't really disagreed much. We've just been on a page of let's keep things peaceful. Let's keep things cool. So we felt like, you know, now this is my boy because we get along all the time.
Yeah.
But then it makes me wonder, in the event where our friendship is tested, will it stand? You know, because I haven't had that. I literally haven't had any real challenges because we've always been we haven't challenged each other. They haven't challenged me. I've challenged them. But again, with coming in contact with you, it's got me in a space where I want to talk to my friends even more. It's like, no, now I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to grow. I'm challenging you to come up. I'm challenging you to make it to the next level. And that's as a result of what I've seen, the growth that I've seen in me through our relationship. Yeah. Now I'm challenging my friends and my close friends the same way. Because whereas at one point, I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. I didn't want to rock the boat. None of that. But now I'm at a place where it's like, bro, like we got to do better.
Yeah.
And I'm not always sure of what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
You know?
So I think this is good. To be vulnerable and to be transparent is very difficult and very scary. Yeah, but the benefits, like I can't express enough, and I think we're going to see this like unfold all of season 1, that when you're able to just really be vulnerable and get out of your comfort zone and do some things in life that you've never done, you can get results that you all right, now I'm trying not to. This is not. It's not the church. I'm trying not to preach, but you can get results that you haven't seen. Insanity is the definition of doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. And so, if we want to see a different result in our lives, like, we have to do things differently. And I literally feel like we have to be willing to step out of the boat. Yeah. We really have to be willing to trust all that God has put in us, all that we, trust us. That we're good people, that at the core, God has us, that we mean us no harm, whatever decision we make, and just to step out on faith and to step out of the boat. But for me, at this season in my life, I've been able to see some of the most phenomenal results in my marriage, with my children, with family members, with career, by really being vulnerable. But that doesn't mean that it's easy, and it doesn't mean it always feels good. Like, sometimes you are literally freaking out. Yeah. Like, why did I just step out? But I think God continues to show up each and every time for us because he loves us. He'll never leave us. He'll never forsake us. So literally, we're good. Yeah. He's not going to let us drown.
And what I've seen in your relationships is that it's more respected. Mm-hmm. You don't have to guess the impact that you've had in your friends' lives, because it's tangible. They can completely come to you and say, hey, this situation, you helped me through this, you helped me through that. And I think that that's something that I desire even more of. Just being honest at 40 plus, it's like, we should be getting better. We should be maturing more, and we should be, again, not at the same levels that we were before. So while I've been able to sustain relationships, I don't know. Sometimes it's hard to measure the growth of that relationship.
That's good. I like that. Yeah.
It's almost like, has
it been complacent?
Yeah. How long has it been right here? And how do we take our relationship or our friendship to the next level?
Mario, don't forget the J Brown is going pretty deep, because it just makes me think about how many relationships that we are in, whether romantically or with friends or on our job, where it's literally a dead end relationship, and it's complacent. And how many of us are settled with dead end relationships and dead end situations in our life that aren't getting us anywhere. I think the more that you guys continue to join the podcast, I think our personalities have to and will naturally come out, and we will unpack certain things and conversations that will get really real. But I think for me, and I can only speak for myself, and we're speaking, you're speaking for yourself, we're speaking, our life, and prayerfully a lot of people can connect, but I'm just not okay with settling when I only get one life. And it's so short. Like, I'm not okay with it being complacent. I'm not okay with, I talk with Mario about this all the time. If I'm driving down the highway and I see that I'm going the wrong way, and I always look at life as a road, that's one of my favorite analogies to look at life. Why would I continue to drive down the wrong road? That makes no sense, because when you go on a road trip, if you realize you're going the wrong way for 20 minutes, who will continue to go? Come on, hear me, y'all. For 14 hours the wrong way, 15 hours the wrong way. Now let's put years. So we know we're going the wrong way. We know that what's in our life isn't good for us, but we stay there for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4, like. Yeah. And then we do lose hope. And we do feel like we're dying internally, and you start battling with things like depression and turning to things that aren't us, picking up these vices. Now, I want to go out and hang out, and now I want to drink, and now I want to party, and now I want to do all of these things that really aren't going to take me in the direction that I'm trying to go, because really I'm 40 plus. We really trying to produce. We're really trying to be great in the earth. We're really trying to do big things for ourselves, for our family, for our grandparents, for our parents, for our legacy. Yeah. But when we pick up these vices and when we allow things to go too long, I think the enemy is just winning. I think he just laughing like, okay, I'm just going to have y'all wander in the wilderness for 40 years and just, absolutely. I think that's what it is.
And that's where it can get dangerous, because we find ourselves in comfortable places. And so you ask the question, who will continue to go down this road? And you'd be surprised how many people are going to stay on the wrong road because they're comfortable.
I've done it before, and I'm like, that didn't
Let's
make
be
no
honest.
sense.
But it's like, but this is all I know. This is where I'm comfortable. I'm afraid to move to the next step, the next level. So I'm gonna stay right here, regardless of where this road is leading to. And so it's that uncomfortable place that gets us to the places that we want to go to.
Absolutely.
And so how many of us are willing to be uncomfortable for a greater cause, for a greater good, and just for a better result in our own lives?
Yeah, absolutely. I think our relationship is a manifestation of uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
That's exactly what this is. That's the only reason we're here before you. Everything that you see that continues to unfold from our life, it's literally because we had to be uncomfortable. We had to be transparent. We had to really dig to places in our life that we never did before. And it has not always felt good. And we're excited to share that. We're excited to be honest and open and transparent with you guys so that prayerfully the things that we've learned or experienced can help and encourage, other people and our brothers and sisters as you guys move forward, because it gets real.
Oh, yeah.
40 plus gets real.
So it's so many directions and areas that we want to tackle and cover. Again, this 40 plus podcast will be here for a long time because it's so much to cover, so many topics and so many things to dig into. Just even thinking about right now, we're talking about friendships, and we were just specifically talking about sustaining friendships and how do we do that. So the friendships that we've had, but let's think about how do we establish new friendships at 40 plus? Yeah. At 40 plus, come on, y'all. Let's be honest. We don't trust everybody. We looking at everybody a lot of times with the side eye. And it's like, we don't know why you're coming into my life. What do you want? What are you trying to take from me? And so it's hard to release. It's hard to let go. So how do you even establish new friendships at 40 plus? It's easier as a kid. You watch kids, they come together. Hey, you want to play? Let's get it. You want to use money. It's no ill thoughts, no ill motives. But once you've gone through some things, that's when it becomes a little bit more challenging.
Yeah. I think for me right now, it's just before I step out and do anything, I have to do the inner work. So I'm kind of telling myself right now, I'm like, okay, what type of woman do I want to be? And then what type of women and sisters do I want to attract? And so I'm kind of going through that process. But okay, so let me backtrack though. I kind of feel like in friendships, I'm in a season, just have to be honest, I'm a newlywed and I have been blessed and challenged to find my best friend and my mate. And the reason I say blessed and challenged because we are blessed to have such a beautiful friendship and to be best friends, but then also learning how to be a good best friend to you is a challenge, because we have to be best friends and then we have to be partners and then we have to have our careers and all of that. And so our friendship and being best friends truly challenges me to have to be better because I don't want to get booted off of being the best.
Oh, you got that spot.
Because sometimes you let's be honest, you married, but that don't mean that you really like your mate, or that your mate is really your best friend. And I'm just being honest.
Another topic.
Yes.
You're married, but do you like your mate?
Yeah, literally. I think we're just really blessed to and it's crazy because I hear people say my husband is my best friend, and sometimes I question, is that really true? But honestly, here I'm actually able to say, no, Mario is my best friend, and I actually learned how to be a better woman and better friend to other people because of us. Yeah. It teaches me, it challenges me, you know. So I think for me right now, this friendship is the one that God is really using to sharpen me and make me a better woman. But then I'm also, open and looking for a sisterhood too as well.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And then just thinking about expectation in friendships. And so since we're on the topic of friendships, when you're 40 plus, what is the expectation? Do you expect for me to contact you and not in relationship, but in friendships? You expect me to contact you 2-3 times a week? Yeah. Are you expecting to hear from me once a day? What is the expectation? And then sometimes we're even afraid to even let the other friend know what that expectation is.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but how important is that? Because if I don't know what you're expecting from me, how am I held accountable for what it is that you're expecting from me?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. And I'm excited. I want you guys to make sure that you like, comment, let us know where you are 40 plus in friendships. What experience have you had? What season did you feel like you did really good? Are you still in a good season? Like if you're 60, 70 now, are you really good? Or do you feel like you want to get better? But how do we continue to maintain very healthy and strong friendships? Because community is important, especially as we get older. I think to have a community that loves us, that supports us, and that really understands us is important as we get older in life.
And then also, what happens to the this culture of people who are saying no new friends?
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of people that believe in that. And honestly, if I'm one, I may be one, because I've had a core group of people that's like, I'm good. Like I don't need any new friends. I'm good. I know who my friends are. I can tell you some things about them. They can tell you some things about me that they won't tell you, and vice versa. But no new friends. So how do we even introduce or be open to new friends to come into our lives when we're entering it possibly with these guards? Yeah,
and I think it goes to, do we want it? Do we desire it?
Or do we need it? At 40 plus, do you ever get to a place where it's like, I got you. If I got you and you're my best friend, why do I need Chad? Why do I need Marcus? Why do I need Stevie? Why do I need Fred? But guess what? I still need them. But I wonder how other people view these situations. Like, okay, well, I got my best friend and my spouse. So do you start to treat your friends that you came up with, that you've been on the ground with? How do you deal with this? Some people have a problem with that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, absolutely. For me right now, I think that God is really pressing upon me community.
Okay.
And so I think that I can, come on, y'all, we can have the best of both worlds. I think that if we're hopeful and if we really believe that we can have good things in our life and good fruit in our life, we can. So I feel like I absolutely can. And I just want to believe this for my life. I absolutely can have a best friend in my husband that I love, and have a best friend with my children, and as adult children, not younger children, and have best friends or great friendships and community with people that I go to church with, and people that I work with in the community, and people that I know from my hometown. But all of those friendships can look different. Yeah. And I feel like that's the space where I'm at. Like, I feel like I have really, everything is kind of put in its place, and it's kind of evolving naturally and authentically. I'm not trying to force anything, but then I still am aware that I do want a healthy sense of community, and your community may look different than my community. Yeah. So I'm not trying to make my community your community. My community, Mario knows, I love seasoned women. and I love
she not 40 plus, she's 60 plus. Her best friends. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Woo. I mean, when I tell you, it's so funny because when I get around seasoned women that are just polished and in the faith and just have wisdom, I fall in love. Yeah. My mother-in-law, if you ask me, that's one of my besties in the whole wide world with you. To be around her and her presence, the way that she carries herself, her wisdom, and how she can teach me. Yeah. At this point in my life, just being at the top of 40s, I'm still understanding that I need more wisdom that I don't have, that an 80-year-old has, or 60 or 70. And so for me, I know that I want a certain group of women and sisters around me that can make Kimberly more polished, because Kimberly doesn't have it all figured out. And it would be foolish of me to think that. Yeah. So I love that.
I think that's important. I think because you've already established that you're going somewhere in life, and you understand that there's some key pieces that are going to help you get to where you got to go.
Absolutely.
So unfortunately, at 40 plus, there are some people that have not gotten to that point. Yeah. And it's like they haven't gotten to the place of, I got to grow. I'm running out of time. It's a place that I'm trying to get to. So the older I get, the more mature I become.
Yeah.
And So unfortunately, you got some people that's not in that place. You know,
Yeah, of course.
I didn't reach this place right when I hit 40.
Yeah.
Like I still had a lot of learning, maturity to grow. Even now, I'm still maturing.
Yeah.
But again, just understanding, like you said, everything has its place, and just understanding that each friend, they hold value, they hold different places in your life. Absolutely. And so that's one of the things I appreciate, because it's crazy, because even as a Christian, a lot of my friends didn't grow up in church and aren't churched men. And so, you know, I was taught that you can't really just mix those two together. But I found that the most genuine, the most that I can count on, these guys are loyal. These guys, they wasn't in the church. The guys that I could trust didn't come from they came from the streets. And that's why I hold on to them. But you know, for some people, they may be like, nah, you can't blend the two worlds together.
I think that the Lord can use any of us at any time, and you can't always explain the dynamic of a relationship, you know, any type of relationship. And it is what it is. For some people it works, for some people it doesn't. And I think just really understanding ourselves and what we need and what we don't need, and the very person that may not be for somebody else is the very person we need. You know, Absolutely. And so just being able to be aware of that, and just, I think 40 plus, just removing all of the stereotypes and we have to do it this way, and and just to be free in our life, free in our decisions, and really understanding what's best for us. And that's the thing that I'm excited for this space, is because we just get to be real and just lay things out the way they're going to be. You know, it's not the same for everybody.
Yeah. And I do also want to say that I think it's important to evaluate your friendships, no matter how long the friendship has. I think it's important to value relationships, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even in our relationship, we evaluate it, because how do we grow? How do we, you know, continue to get to another level if we never evaluate where we are?
Yeah.
So even in friendships, you know, again, this wasn't me in the past. I didn't even look at my friends. I'm like, oh, this is my friend for life.
Yeah.
Period. Like not even nothing to think about. But as I evaluate my friendships now, I see the value that they hold in my life. Yeah. And then there are some friends that I'm not close to anymore, because it's just not that season in my life.
Yeah.
Like, things have changed. I'm going different places. So I'm okay. I'm okay with them doing their own thing and me doing my own thing. No love lost, but we don't have to talk every day. We don't have to talk really at all anymore in some cases, you know, and it's just because of where I'm going. And I understand that some things may have to drop off. And, you know, they may not understand some of the places that I'm headed in my life, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's not that I've just arrived, but it's just, you know, again, being able to evaluate these friendships that are in your life, because it's important.
That's good. You actually made me think about something, and it's kind of convicting, and it's so crazy, because it's just a regular, again, this isn't on our Christian platform. This is a podcast for everybody, the believer and non-believer, everything in between. But of course, our faith will come out. But it's amazing how God can move beyond the church walls, because I just got convicted just thinking about, when are there times in my life where I've made earthly friendships more important than my relationship with God? So I'm just going to, you know, I'm just going to let that sit. You know, we'll just going to let that sit. But it just made me really think about how the seasons in my life, how they could have been more fruitful had I really developed the most important relationship, the most important friendship, which is my friendship with the Lord, and really supping with him and understanding and getting the information and the knowledge that I needed for my life, because he knows what direction he wants me to go. And I can look back, there's plenty of seasons where I wanted to do it my way, and I wanted to be connected to people that I thought with my human brain that I needed to be connected to, which had I asked God, he would have told me, no, daughter. That's not the direction I wanted you to go. And so, but the good thing is that we live and we learn and we grow, and that he keeps us through it all, good decisions or bad decisions. But you just got me. I don't know how you just got me, but you got me.
I think the more we are intentional about just growing, things will naturally change. The closer we become to God, it's just the things that he'll expose that may need to change. And so I think that's natural. So while we're reevaluating self, just the closer that we get to him, I think it helps us to reevaluate everything and everything around us, because again, these are the things that help us, or they add to who we are, who we're not.
Absolutely.
So,
I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation and you are thinking and processing. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, tune in. We have some more spicy conversation coming up. What are we going to next?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? Whew. You introducing me because I don't know.
Listen, woo, yeah. So the thing that I love about this podcast, and I want to make sure that you guys tune in for the next episode. Yeah. We want to be really honest and transparent about so many different topics. And we've had so many people come to us in different settings and different places in our life and just really kind of connect and talk about real things that are happening in their life in real time. One of the things that we want to talk about and we can't skip over, we want to talk about intimacy. We want to talk about romance. We want to talk about sexual relationships. This has come up so many times with those who are 40 plus, the struggle with romantic relationships, intimacy, and sex within marriage. And we weren't afraid to touch it. We want to go all the way in to talk about what you think? What you think? What you got?
It's gonna be hard not to go all the way there because we're trying to save something for the next podcast.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when you have lived life, basically, when you've been in a place where you've experienced some things, what does true intimacy really look like?
Yeah.
And we're not talking about the things that, what's the word I'm looking for? Infatuation or lust. That's a huge one. Yeah. What does true intimacy look like? And I think that in order to, kind of talk about that, just to hear your thoughts and you express what you feel about it. Again, this platform is open. We don't claim to know any and everything. This is just our experience, and we're sharing it with you.
Yeah.
And so, just interested to know what you guys even think. What makes intimacy intimate?
Yeah.
Like what makes it? What
makes intimacy intimate?
Yeah.
That's good. I love it. 40 plus. We're going to have to keep it real. One of the areas that we have to talk about, we're going to have to talk about intimacy. We're going to have to talk about romantic relationships. We're going to have to talk about sex. Sex is just, it's out there and it's everywhere. How can we not talk about it and how it's affecting us at this age, 40 plus, and our decisions, our life, our relationships? What things have we seen when it comes to maybe pitfalls in our romantic relationships because sex was not there? Or what pitfalls have there been because there was too much sex in a season of our life and we didn't know how to stop what we were doing or where we were at? But we definitely want to talk about that intimacy. We want to talk about romance, romantic relationships, and sex.
So what can we start with? What can we touch on before we even move? What can we just touch a little bit? What do you think?
I think that if we just touched on a little bit before we go, because I want to leave a little something because I want to go all the way in the next episode. But I think that when it comes to intimacy, I think that it's more important than we think. True intimacy, I think, is more important than we think. And I think that if we can really tap into what is true intimacy, then we can really get a lot of our needs met in many areas.
So you mean to tell me that intimacy is not just a good feeling? It's not just a climax or a place that you get in? No,
sir.
What do you think?
No, I'm not going to tell you guys now. You're going to have to tune in. He's trying to pull it from me, but I'm trying to. I'm saying make sure that you tune in for the next episode 2. I enjoyed our new family.
Absolutely. Thank you all. This means the world that you all would even tune in. Again, this is a platform that we believe is necessary.
Yeah.
We don't do anything that we believe is not necessary.
Absolutely.
And so, again, you're just getting an inside look on our everyday topics, everything that we discuss on a regular. Again, like she mentioned, I'm her best friend. She's my best friend. So we're able to talk and discuss things that, just everyday life.
Be real,
honest,
transparent. And the growth that we've seen, I think that's why a podcast like this is so good, because the growth that we've been able to see in our personal life, We just want to encourage and help others as you may be navigating some of those same things that are familiar to us. And having a community allows us to be able to talk about those things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we may feel like we're going through something alone, or nobody else understands, or maybe no one else is thinking about that. And how cool is it to have a platform that's grown for us to really talk about things, let our hair down, and just be honest about everything in life, the good, the bad, and everything in between.
Absolutely.
And then grow and learn from it. Because
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, God still has us. We're still here. We're still blessed.
For sure. And a lot of people haven't made it even to this point.
Come on. Absolutely.
You know, that's another blessing, that we're able to even speak on the things that we've learned at this age, and prayerfully we'll continue to live many more years, and we'll be able to affect and help other people who are yet trying to grow. So again, this is the place where we inspire and touch those who are 40 and over. The 40 Plus podcast. We ask that you would continue to just help us spread this word.
Yes.
And if there's some topics that you guys want to discuss, some things that you want to know about, some things that you're struggling with, again, we have a wide variety of resources within the two of us, and even with you. You know, we understand that our reach will be even beyond us. So if you guys, especially our first subscribers, like we're excited.
Thank you.
Our first 25 subscribers. Oh, we love y'all. Yeah. Guess what? 25 can reach 50.
There you go.
50 can reach 75.
Come on, Pastor.
75 can reach
100,000.
I don't know what kind of math I did there, but y'all get the point. Y'all understand the growth that's happening here. And so with your help, we will continue to reach the world.
Yes.
And again, let's just be intentional about, you know, our impact and what we're doing to inspire others. We love you guys. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 40 Plus podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Marie Brown.
I'm Mario J. Brown.
Tune in next week. We love you guys.
Next week.
We're talking
every
about
Wednesday.
Yes. Sex, intimacy,
finance, career, relationships.
all of it.
Yeah.
But
it's
you know
all
what's
necessary.
coming next week. Okay.
For
We
sure.
love you guys.
All right. God bless.
Bye-bye.